Clay sat alone in the corner of a loud bar on the orbiting trade station called Vega Ring. The lights were dim and the air smelled like fuel and sweat. He had a cold drink in front of him but hadn't touched it. He was a human, tall and strong, with scars on his arms that told stories of old fights. He wasn't a soldier anymore, just a freelance bodyguard for hire. He was about to leave when two women walked in. They moved with quiet grace, like they were trained in something serious. They looked the same tall, with smooth purple skin and long silver hair tied back neatly. Their eyes were bright gold and their faces calm. They wore cloaks that covered their forms, but Clay noticed their weapons, hidden but not to him. One of them walked straight to his table. "Are you Clay?" she asked. "Depends," he said, not moving. "We need a bodyguard," the second woman said. She joined her sister and looked around carefully, scanning the room. "You come highly recommended?" Clay raised an eyebrow. "Who told you that?" The first one sat across from him. "Someone who trusts you." He didn't like how vague it was, but something in their eyes told him this wasn't a normal job. He leaned forward a little. "What's the pay?" 50,000 credits. Now. "Another 50 when we reach our destination?" The second. One said calmly. Clay blinked. That was too much for just guarding two people. "What's the catch?" The twins looked at each other. Then the first one said, "We'll tell you when we're safe." We didn't trust them, but he also needed the money. He nodded. "Fine, I'm in." They stood quickly. "Follow us. We need to leave now." Outside the bar, Clay noticed something strange. Two figures in dark cloaks were watching the twins. He said nothing but kept his hand near his weapon as they walked through the station. The three moved fast, avoiding crowds. As they reached a docking tunnel, Clay spoke softly. "We're being followed." The twins didn't panic. They just moved quicker. Two cloaked men tried to block the path ahead. Clay didn't wait. Charged the first one and slammed him against the wall. Second man pulled a small blaster, but Clay kicked it from his hand and hit him hard in the chest. The man fell. "You didn't say people would be after you," Clay said as they reached their ship. "We said we'd tell you later," one twin replied calmly. They entered a sleek silver ship with no name on the hull. Clay noticed it was built for speed but had no visible weapons. Inside, the ship was clean and quiet. Lights glowed softly along the walls. "Strap in," one twin said. "We're leaving now." The ship took off smoothly, leaving the Vega Ring behind. Clay sat in the back, checking the gear he brought. He had a small bag with tools, weapons, and a shield generator. He watched the twins work the controls together, like they had done it many times before. They didn't talk much, just gave small looks to each other and acted in sync. Finally, Clay asked, "So who are you really?" The ship moved into hyperspace, and silence filled the cabin. "My name is Leia," the first twin said, "and I'm Cena," the second one added. "We're not just travelers," Leia said. "We're from the Arari House of Valrin." Clay paused. The Arari were a powerful alien race, known for politics and wealth. The House of Valrin was one of the ruling families. "So you're rich," he said. "Why are you running?" "Someone tried to kill us," Senna said quietly. "We escaped. We don't know who we can trust anymore." Clay leaned back. "And now you trust me?" Leia looked him in the eye. "You were the only one who didn't ask too many questions." Clay smirked. "Still seems like I should have." Senna stood and walked to a panel on the wall. She pressed a few buttons, and a map showed up.
We're going to a quiet place.
A planet called Cairo 7. "Someone there can help us." "After that?" Clay asked. Leia said, "Then we decide if we go back or if we stay hidden forever." Clay nodded slowly. "I'm in it now. Just don't lie to me again." They agreed. Hours passed. The ship moved through deep space. Clay didn't sleep, checked every corner of the ship. It had no defense systems, no escape pods, wasn't built for war. It was meant to run. In the middle of the night, Clay heard a soft alarm. He ran to the front. "What is it?" he asked. Senna pointed. "A drone fleet. It's not showing flags." Clay looked at the screen. 5 small attack drones were closing in fast. You said this route was safe, he growled. It was supposed to be, Leia said. Strap in, Clay ordered. He took over the controls. Flying wasn't his main skill, but he knew enough to survive. He spun the ship leapt, dove through a debris field, and hit the boosters hard. The drones followed. Clay flew straight into an asteroid field. The twins gasped. You'll kill us, Senna said. Not if I fly better than them, Clay said. The drones chased them through the rocks. Clay scraped the ship's wings, spun between tight gaps, and suddenly dove into a narrow canyon between. 2 massive floating stones. One drone hit a rock and exploded. Another clipped a jagged edge and burst into flames. Clay laughed once. 2 down. The ship took a hit. Sparks flew from a side panel. Sina ran to fix it. Leia stayed calm and sent fake signals to confuse the drones. Finally, they escaped. Clay landed the ship on a quiet moon to rest. So, said, standing with his arms crossed, next time maybe tell me if people are trying to kill you before we take off? Leia smiled a little. Deal. And just like that, Clay knew this job had only just begun. Clay stood near the entrance of the ship, watching the dark sky of the moon above them. Soft winds moved over the surface, carrying a strange smell like burnt metal and dry earth. He checked his weapon for the 3rd time and listened. It was quiet, but his gut told him trouble wasn't far. Inside the ship, Leia and Senna worked quickly. Parts of the control system had shorted out during their escape from the drones. Sina had wires in her hands and sweat on her brow. Leia worked. With her handing tools and rerouting power lines, Clay finally stepped inside. How bad is it? Not great, Senna said, not looking up. The navigation panel's damaged. We can fly, but we can't jump far. Can you fix it? He asked, maybe. But I'll need a full repair dock. This ship wasn't built for fights, Senna said. Clay glanced at Leia. You 2 didn't expect any of this, did you? Leia looked tired but nodded. We knew someone was after us, but we didn't think they'd send drones into open space. Someone really wants. You gone? Clay said. And I'm guessing it's not just because you're noble daughters. They both froze for a second. Then Senna slowly stood and looked at Clay. You're right, she said. Leia took a deep breath. We didn't tell you everything. Not just escaping a family feud. We have something others want to destroy. Clay raised an eyebrow. What? Senna walked to a hidden panel near the wall and opened it. Inside was a small silver case. She brought it out carefully and placed it on the table. When she opened it, a soft blue light filled the room. Inside was a single data crystal. This, Senna said quietly, holds records of something very dangerous. Dangerous how? Clay asked. Leia answered. It's proof that our family was building something illegal, something that could start a war. Clay stepped closer. Like what? A weapon, Sina said. Not just any weapon, one that breaks galactic rules. One that can erase entire planets without leaving a trace. Clay stared at the crystal. And you're carrying this? Why? Leia said. Because we want to stop them. We were never part of their plans. We found the files by mistake, and when they knew we had them, they tried to kill us. Clay sat down, rubbing his face. You 2 realize anyone who finds out you have this will come after you. We know, Leia said. That's why we hired you, Sina, added Clay, shook his head. Should have said that before we jumped into an asteroid field. They all shared a quiet laugh. Even in danger, it helped ease the tension. So what now? Clay asked. Senna looked at the map. Kairos 7 is too far without the jump drive. But there's a place close by, a hidden station called Vera's Rest. Old smugglers use it. I know someone there who might help. How do you know we can trust them? Clay asked. I don't, she said. But we don't have many choices. Clay stood. Then we better move before more drones show up. The ship lifted off the moon slowly. The stars above looked cold and distant. Clay sat near the front this time, watching the controls. The twins flew together, their hands moving over buttons with silent rhythm. as they entered deep space again. Clay noticed something on the scanner. "We've got a tail," he said. Leia looked. "One ship. Small, stealth class. Pirates?" Cena asked. Clay narrowed his eyes. "Maybe. Or bounty hunters." The small ship didn't fire. It just followed, keeping distance. "We can't outfly them," Senna said. "Not with damage." "Then we don't run," Clay said. "Let them catch up." The twins looked at him like he was crazy. Clay grinned. "But we choose where." He picked a small debris field on the map, what was left of an old mining station. The ship headed there. Once inside, Clay set traps around a broken docking arm. Explosive charges, smoke flashers, and motion alarms. "You trust your plan?" Cena asked. "No," Clay said, "but I trust myself." Oh. They waited. Minutes passed. Then the enemy ship arrived, sleek and silent. It docked on the far end of the broken station. A single figure stepped out, wearing a full black suit and mask. "One," Clay whispered. "Maybe the others stayed back," Leia said. Masked figure moved fast, sliding through wreckage like a shadow. Clay watched on the screen. Then dash, boom. One trap went off. Smoke filled the corridor. Clay moved in. He leaped from cover, tackled the masked enemy, and slammed them to the floor. The figure tried to fight back, but Clay was stronger. Tore off the mask. Underneath was an alien woman's lender, sharpened and angry. "Who sent you?" Clay asked. She spat at him. "You'll be dead soon anyway." Clay rolled his eyes. Wrong answer. He hit a button on his wrist. The rest of the traps activated. The noise was loud and chaotic. The enemy ship started pulling away in panic, leaving their agent behind. "Looks like your team ditched you," Clay said. The alien woman looked scared now. "You don't know what you're protecting." "I think I do," Clay replied. "And I won't let them die." He knocked her out and tied her up. When Clay returned to the ship, the twins looked at him with wide eyes. "You did that alone?" Senna asked. "You were busy?" Clay said simply. They took off again. And this time, there was no tail. Hours later, as the stars drifted by, Clay sat with the twins. They handed him food and water. "You saved us again," Leia said softly. "It's my job," Clay replied. "No," Senna said. "It's more than that now." Clay didn't answer. But deep inside, he knew he wasn't just a bodyguard anymore. He was part of something bigger, and he wasn't going to run from it. Vera's Rest was not on any official star map. It floated in the shadow of a dying star, hidden by debris, forgotten satellites, and layers of old scanner jammers. Some called it a ghost station. Others said it was a graveyard for deals that should never be remembered. Clay had seen worse. He stood by the ship's hatch, watching the huge metal rings of the station grow closer. Lights flickered weakly on its surface. Pieces of broken ships floated nearby like frozen bones. It didn't feel like a place for hope. It felt like a place where secrets were buried. Senna landed the ship carefully. Docking clamps locked in with a loud hiss. "This is your friend's place?" Clay asked. "Not exactly," she said. "He does business here. Name's Torvik. Ex-commander, now works for himself. And you trust him?" Clay said, raising an eyebrow. "He saved us once," Leia said quietly. "But that was years ago." "Let's hope he still likes you," Clay muttered. Grabbing his blaster inside the station, the halls were dim and narrow. Metal walls groaned. Rusty pipes leaked steam. Strange alien workers passed them, their eyes low, not wanting trouble. This was a place where no one asked questions. No one gave answers for free. They reached a sealed door with a blinking red panel. Cena pressed her palm to it. After a moment, the door opened. A tall alien with blue skin and a single golden. I stood behind it. His armor was old, but well kept. He stared at the twins for a long moment. Then he smiled. "Well," he said, "never thought I'd see you both again." "Torvik," Cena said, stepping forward. "We need your help." Torvik looked at Clay. "And the human?" "Bodyguard," Clay said. "And backup plan." Torvik let out a laugh. "Come in then," sighed. was a hidden command room, full of stolen tech and private screens. Torvik sat down and poured himself a drink. "So what kind of trouble are you in?" he asked. Leia didn't speak. Senna took the data crystal from her coat and placed it on the table. The soft blue glow filled the room again. Torvik stared at it. "Is that what I think it is? It's worse," Sina said. "We need help decoding and sending it safely." Torvik's face changed. He leaned back and rubbed his forehead. "You girls really know how to make enemies." Clay stepped in. "Can you help or not?" Torvik nodded slowly. "But not for free." "We'll pay," Senna said. "Not in credits," Torvik replied. "I want something else." He pointed to a small metal cube on the table. It contained something. "I need delivered to the Solari zone. I was supposed to send a courier, but they vanished last week." "What's inside?" Clay asked. "Doesn't matter," Torvik said. "It does to me," Clay replied. Torvik gave a short nod. "Just a list. Names of people I'm trying to protect. Nothing harmful, but very valuable." Clay looked at the twins. "Your call?" They agreed. Torvik took the data crystal to a back room, promising to work on it. Meanwhile, Clay checked the ship again. He added a hidden camera near the entrance and sharpened the scanner range. He didn't trust anyone, not even Torvik. That night, Clay sat outside the ship, keeping watch. Leia came out quietly and sat beside him. "You don't sleep much," she said. "Not when danger is near," he said. They sat in silence for a while. "We didn't plan for this," Leia said. "We just wanted to run, to stay alive." "You're doing more than that now," Clay said. "You're trying to change something." "Do you think we're wrong?" she asked softly. Clay looked at her. "No, I think you're brave, but bravery brings enemies." Suddenly, the ship's alarm buzzed softly. Clay stood up fast, hand on his weapon. He checked the scanner. One life sign, near the back hatch. "Stay here," he said to Leia. He moved fast, quiet, stepping into the back corridor. The hatch was slightly open. A small shadow moved inside Clay. Jumped in and tackled the figure. They fell to the floor. The stranger tried to run, but Clay held them down. He pulled off the mask. It was a boy, maybe 16. Pale green skin, shaking. "What are you doing here?" Clay asked. I was just looking," the boy stuttered. "I'm not with them." "With who?" Clay said sharply. "The ones outside, watching." Clay narrowed his eyes. "How many?" "2 ships. Small. Hiding near the wrecks." Clay let the boy go. "Get out now." The boy ran without looking back. Clay rushed to Leia. "We've got company, Senna. Came out to Torvik," she asked. "I don't think it's him," Clay said. "But we need to move." They ran to Torvik's room. He was still working on the data. "You didn't tell me someone followed us," Clay said. "They didn't," Torvik said. .com. "They were already here, and we need to go now," Sina said. "The crystal's almost unlocked," Torvik said. "Give me 5 minutes." They agreed, but Clay set traps again, just like before. Minutes later, blaster fire echoed in. The Hall's 2 masked fighters entered the station. Clay fought them off using smoke and quick strikes. One went down fast, the other ran, but Clay caught him near the airlock. He slammed the fighter to the wall. "Who sent you?" Clay demanded. "The house," the fighter whispered. "You don't belong in their game, human. They'll burn you." 2. Clay knocked him out and returned. Torvik handed them the unlocked data crystal. "It's all here now. Everything. And it's worse than I thought." He showed them the screen. "War plans. Secret tests. Forbidden tech. If this goes public," Torvik said, "your family will fall." Leia's voice was quiet. "Then let it fall." They thanked Torvik and left. As their ship left Vera's Rest, Clay looked back once. The station faded behind them. But he knew the danger ahead was only growing. The stars outside moved slowly as the ship drifted through deep space. Inside, the air felt heavier. The data crystal sat in the center of the table like a silent bomb. Clay, Leia, and Senna stared at the screen, where secret files scrolled by. In a quiet stream, each file showed proof, that the Arari High families had developed forbidden weapons. They had created devices that could erase cities, silence entire moons, and leave no trace behind. And now, these two sisters held the truth. Clay leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "So what's the plan? Where do we send this?" "Cairo 7, Sina said. "They have a tribunal outpost. Neutral. Protected." "Barely protected," Clay muttered. "You think your enemies won't follow you there?" "They will," Leia said. "But it's the only place where someone might listen." Clay sighed. "Then we'll go. But first, we need to fix the ship." Their jump drive was still damaged. It had enough power for short travel, but not enough to make it to Cairo 7. Senna ran the numbers again and pointed at a nearby planet. "Miraloon," she said. "Small outpost. No real government. But there's a shipyard there. We can make repairs fast and quietly." Clay asked. "If we're lucky?" Sina said. The ship landed at Miraloon the next day. The sky above the outpost was green and cloudy. Metal buildings stretched across a flat plain. Repair bots moved between hangars, and ships of all sizes came and went without order. Clay, Leia, and Sina stepped off the ship and walked to a tall workshop. A wide alien with steel arms met them at the gate. He wore goggles and had a cigar. In his mouth, "What do you want?" he growled. "Repairs," Senna said. "Fast ones." The alien grunted. "Money. Half now." "Half after," Senna said, holding out a chip. The alien scanned it and nodded. Dock 5. They returned to the ship as workers swarmed around it. Clay never relaxed. He watched every corner, every worker, every open gate, inside the small outpost. Cafe. They sat down to eat. The place was full of travelers, merchants, and shady deals. Clay picked a corner seat back to the wall. "So far, so good," Sina said quietly. "Too quiet," Clay replied. His instinct was right. 2 tables away, a cloaked figure watched them. Clay saw the movement too stiff, too alert. Not just another traveler. He stood slowly. "We need to go now." But it was too late. The figure stood and pulled a small weapon from under the cloak. Before anyone could scream, Clay jumped forward, pushing the table aside and knocking the attacker back. Blaster shots rang out. Panic filled the cafe. Sina pulled, Leia behind cover. Clay fought with the cloaked one, blocking strikes and throwing punches. The attacker was trained fast, but Clay was stronger. He slammed the figure to the floor and pulled off the mask. It was someone he knew, Ashar. Clay said. Shocked Shock was another human, once a soldier like him. They had fought together during the border skirmishes, but Ashar had vanished 2 years ago. "What are you doing here?" Clay asked. Ashar sneered. "Shouldn't have gotten involved, Clay. This isn't your fight." "You tried to kill them," Clay said, his voice cold. "They're carrying a death sentence," Ashar replied. "That crystal could destroy balance in the galaxy. Thousands will die if it's leaked, or millions if it's hidden." Clay snapped. Ashar pushed him back and tried to run, but Leia raised her own weapon. "Don't move." Ashar froze. "We're not here to start a war," Senna said. "We're trying to stop one by ruining your own family," Ashar asked. "If that's what it takes," Leia said. Ashar slowly dropped his weapon. "I'll come for you. All of them. Your people, your rivals, even the neutral zones. No one wants this truth to come out, and we'll make them hear it," Clay said. "Even if it costs us everything." Ashar looked at Clay for a long time. Then he nodded once. "You've changed," maybe, Clay said. "But I'm still standing." Ashar turned and walked out. He didn't fight anymore. The crowd slowly calmed down. The cafe returned to normal. Back on the ship, the drive was fully repaired. "We can jump now," Senna said. "Then let's not wait," Clay said. They left Miraloon behind. As they entered hyperspace, Leia sat next to Clay. "Thank you," she said. "For what?" Clay asked. "For believing in us, even when it's hard." Clay didn't speak right away. Then he said, "I don't know if we'll win, but I'll fight to keep you alive, no matter what." Leia smiled softly. Later that night, Clay stood alone at the front window. Stars stretched in long streaks outside. His thoughts were heavy. He had taken this job for money, a simple job. Protect 2 women, stay quiet, and get paid. Now he was standing between them and the entire galaxy. Not because he had to, but because he chose to. And deep inside, he knew there was no turning back. The stars around the ship twisted as it dropped out of hyperspace near Cairo 7. The planet below was vast. It was covered in blue oceans and green land, dotted with cities that glowed softly in the night. This was where the Galactic Tribunal stood, a place of laws and judgments meant to hold peace between many worlds. Clay watched the planet from the ship's window, his mind full of questions and worries. The twins sat silently beside him, their faces tense. The crystal they carried held truths that could shake the galaxy, and they were about to make the hardest choice of their lives. "We're here," Sina said quietly. "The tribunal won't be easy, but it's the only chance." "And the family?" Clay asked. "They won't just let you walk in." Leia shook her head. "They've sent warships. They want to stop us." "Then we better be ready," Clay said. Checking his weapons, the ship landed on the tribunal's outer station, a huge fortress orbiting the planet. The air was cold, and the halls were quiet. Guards with heavy armor watched every move. Inside, they met with a tribunal Juja, tall alien with silver scales and eyes like burning coals. He listened as Leia and Senna told their story. Crystal glowed softly on the table. "These files are dangerous," the judge said. "If true, they could start wars and destroy trust. Then they must be made public," Leia said firmly. "Not without proof," the judge replied. "And not without protection." Clay stood nearby, watching the judge carefully. Suddenly alarms blared. Red lights flashed. The station shook. "Attack!" Guard shouted. Outside, Clay could see warships closing fast, cutting through space. "Like hunting knives. They found us," Sina said. "Get to the safe rooms," the judge ordered. "Defend the crystal." Clay grabbed Leia's hand. "We're not just hiding." "Then what?" Senna asked. "Fighting," Clay said. They ran through narrow halls, dodging guards and explosions. Clay led them to a hidden armory. Inside, weapons. An armor waited. "Put these on," Clay said. "It's not over yet." They geared up quickly. The twins moved with surprising skill, their training clear. Clay felt a surge of pride. These women were not just nobility, they were warriors. They reached a large hall where tribunal members gathered. Outside, enemy soldiers began to break in. "Hold this line," Clay said. The fight began. Blaster fire echoed. The twins fought, side by side with Clay, their weapons precise and deadly. Clay blocked an enemy who lunged at Leia, saving her by inches. The battle was fierce. Clay could feel his strength fading, but he refused to fall. Then from behind, a shadow appeared. A high-ranking officer from the twins' family. "Surrender the crystal," the officer demanded. "Or die." Leia stepped forward. "We will never surrender the truth." The officer sneered. "Then you leave me no choice." He raised his weapon. Before he fired, Clay jumped in front of Leia. The shot hit Clay's shoulder, throwing him back. Pain burned, but Clay gritted his teeth. "Run," Clay shouted. Leia and Sina hesitated but followed the order. Clay struggled to stand, blocking more enemies with desperate strikes. As the twins escaped through a secret tunnel, Clay looked back once. He saw the officer approach, weapon raised. But then, the twins turned. They fired together, forcing the officer to retreat. Clay used the moment to disappear into the shadows outside. The twins and Clay regrouped on their ship, battered but alive. "You saved us," Leia said, voice soft. "No," Clay said. "We saved each other." Senna nodded. "The crystal is safe, but the war has only begun." Clay looked at the glowing data crystal, now glowing brighter. "Then we fight until the end," he said. The ship took off, stars rushing past inside. Clay felt something new, not just duty, but a fierce bond. He was no longer just a bodyguard. He was a guardian of truth in the fight for peace. The ship soared through space, far from the battle near Cairo 7. Inside, the quiet was heavy. Clay sat in the control room, his shoulder still hurting from the blaster shot. Leia and Senna sat nearby, their faces tired but determined. "What now?" Clay asked quietly. Leia looked out the window at the stars. "Can't go back. Our family will hunt us forever." Sina nodded. "But we can't stay hidden either. The truth must be known." Clay thought about everything they had faced: chases, fights, betrayals, and moments of trust. He had joined for money, but now it was more than that. "Then what is our choice?" Clay asked. "We build something new," Leia said. "A future where secrets don't rule and no one lives in fear." Sina smiled faintly. "And you stay with us?" Clay smiled back. "I'm not just your bodyguard anymore." They landed on a peaceful planet near the neutral zone. The air was fresh and the sky was clear blue. This would be their new home, a place to heal and to start again. Days passed. The twins began reaching out to allies, sharing parts of the truth with trusted leaders. Clay helped protect them, training their small guard and preparing defenses. Slowly word spread. Some called them traitors. Others saw them as heroes. One evening, as the sun set, Clay walked with Leia and Senna along a quiet river. The water shone gold in the fading light. "Do you regret it?" Leia asked softly. "Regret what?" Clay said. "Leaving your old life. Risking everything for us." Clay looked at the flowing river. "No, sometimes the hardest paths are the right ones." Senna smiled. "We're lucky to have you." "Lucky too," Clay said. Months passed, and the new alliance grew stronger. The family that once ruled with fear began to lose power. Peace talks started. The galaxy watched. One day a message came. The former enemies wanted a meeting. The twins agreed at the meeting. Clay stood beside them, calm and ready. The room was tense, full of old rivals and new hopes. The leader of the old family spoke first. "You have shaken our world, but maybe change is needed." Leia stepped forward. "We want peace, but it must be built on truth and trust." The room was silent. Then one by one, heads nodded. Clay felt a weight lift. The fight was not over. But a new chapter had begun later, as they returned to their home planet. The twins looked at Clay. "Thank you," Sina said. "For what?" He asked. "For believing in us. For fighting with us. For being more than just a bodyguard." Clay smiled. "I'm proud to stand with you, no matter what comes." As the stars shone above, Clay knew he had found a new family. One that fought, not for power, but for hope. And in the vast galaxy, that was the greatest victory of all.